All right, so first let's define the trig function using a triangle. So I'm sure you're familiar, or maybe not, right? The whole SOHCAHTOA, do you remember that? I'll ring a bell. So is sine theta equal to opposite over hypotenuse. Cosine of theta is equal to adjacent over hypotenuse. TOA for tangent is equal to opposite over adjacent. Now the reciprocals of sine would be cosecant. Cosecant of theta is equal to hypotenuse over opposite. Secant of theta is equal to hypotenuse over adjacent. Cotangent is equal to adjacent over opposite. Okay. Now, when I'm referring to opposite, etc., I'm referring to a specific angle. So you choose the angle. So if I build a triangle like this, right triangle, and I put theta right there, that means opposite would be over here. Adjacent would be right next to it. Hypotenuse is always hypotenuse. If I draw it this way, which is fine, no matter. Now adjacent is right here. Opposite is over here, and hypotenuse is here. Okay. But that's in the book. I'm not going to go too in depth in the theory. I'm expecting you to watch the videos and the note and read the book. Let's figure out how to solve these questions. So the first question is just literally definition stuff, which we just talked about. It's not until 5 do they give us a triangle. So given this triangle, find the 6 trig functions. But in order to do so, you're going to need hypotenuse, right? So solve for it. Let's do our first example. Find the 6 trig functions let's see how they worded it. Of the theta in the figure. Okay, so I'm gonna put the original sine, cosine, tangent. This will be cosecant, secant, cotangent. So given this triangle, find all six. And they gave us 6 and 8, right? So to find the hypotenuse, is use the Pythagorean theorem, right? We know that c squared is equal to a squared plus b squared, which means that c is equal to the square root of these two. So that means that c is the square root of 6 plus 8 squared, which is 36 plus 64. What is that? That 100? So this guy is 10, I believe. Is that right? You guys agree?
Yes.
All right. Once you have all three sides, just use the definitions, right? That we have up top. Sine theta is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. So if theta is here, opposite's there, hypotenuse is here. So that'll be 8 over 10. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, so that'll be 6 over 10, which reduces, right, to 3/5, 4/5. Tangent would be opposite over adjacent. That'd be 8/6, which is 4/3. Does that make sense so far? Is that okay?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So now we should remember, I didn't define them, but I did tell you that the other three are reciprocals of the originals, right? That's how they're defined. So just flip them over and you'll have the other three. So finding the first three means you have the second set. So this would be 5/4, 5/3, 3/4. Any questions on number one?
No.
That's what they want here. They want those values in here using this triangle. Okay. 1 second. You're being weird. Go. That's
Can I see
fine.
the top of that before you flip? I'm sorry.
Oh,
The very
yeah.
top.
Of course. Sorry, I should have asked.
Perfect. Thank you.
Mhm.
I'm good whenever you're ready.
Okay. Turn it in just a sec. All right, let's do another one. Number 7 from the homework. Let's see what it says. Sketch a right triangle corresponding to the trig function given then find the other trig functions. So cosine theta is equal to 24 over 25. So knowing that, build your triangle and find the rest. That's what we got to do. Okay, so here's a triangle. I'm going to put theta here. Cosine is equal to the adjacent side over the hypotenuse, right? So adjacent is here. Opposite is there. To find the hypotenuse. I'm sorry. Hypotenuse is not there. Over here. So find the opposite side. That's what we need. So we know a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared. 24 squared plus b squared is equal to 25 squared. So b squared is equal to, solve for b, 25 squared minus 24 squared. So b is equal to the square root of whatever that is. And we can find the rest of the functions. All right. What is 25 squared minus 24 squared? That is
49.
49. Was it a, is it a magic triangle? Yeah, it looks like it.
Yeah.
So the opposite side. This is gonna be, was it 49 total or 49 inside the root?
49 inside the root. It's the total is 7.
Okay. Cool. Thanks, man. Okay. So now that we have that, we can find all the trig functions. So sine theta. Let me see where I'm at on the screen here. Sine theta is equal to opposite over hypotenuse, so that'll be 7 over 25. Cosine theta is equal to 24 over 25. Tangent theta is equal to opposite over adjacent, so it's 7 over 24. Now do the reciprocals. So cosecant is 25 over 7. Secant is 25 over 24. Cotan is 24 over 7. Any questions on any of these steps? Okay. Not too bad then.
So wherever tangent is placed, across that it's always opposite, right?
Yeah, wherever you put the angle,
Okay.
theta, then yeah, opposite will be there. If theta's over here or up here, if let's say theta's up top, then opposite's down there.
Okay.
Like you could have a question. I think it might come up later where this is like some other angle, call it phi. So sine of phi would be 24 over 25. That makes sense?
Yes. And beta would be
Yeah, sine would be this opposite.
okay.
So it's always opposite to whatever angle we're talking about. Whatever's inside here will then determine what sides you choose. Okay. Okay. Next, another question then. Number 8, I think. Yeah. Second? Yeah. Find the exact values for X and Y. So given this triangle,
Sorry to interrupt, but the lights are flickering in my house, so the power might go out for me.
understood. If it happens, just watch the video later or let me know. You just go try to come back in later. Excuse me.
Okay.
Okay, so here you're missing two sides, but you have the angle. So what you can do is use the unit circle and a known and the hypotenuse to help you out. So if you don't have the circle memorized, make sure you pull it up, the one I sent you. So the best one to use would be, I guess sine is fine. Sine of 60 degrees would be equal to opposite over hypotenuse, which is equal to, what is sine of 60? You guys remember?
I'm trying on my calculator. Would it be a negative number?
2.
It has to be, well, first of all, it would have to be in degrees, but also, if it's the square root one, it's not going to be an exact answer.
Is it sine pi over 3?
Sine pi over 3 is the
Or
same.
is it,
Yes.
okay,
But on the circle though, what is the y value for sine of 60? Right, that's how we do it here. Let me pull it up.
One
It's
half.
pi over 1/2.
1/2. Let's see. One moment.
Is it pi 3
Pi
over
3.
2?
Pi 3 is the same as 60 degrees.
square root 3 over 2?
Yeah, that would be the answer.
Okay, yeah, that's what I meant.
Let me
And
pull
that's
it.
pi square root.
So let me go over it because I don't remember if we went over it or not, but just in case. Let's talk about the circle again. So if a question is asking you for sine of a specific angle, right? Sine of any angle would be any of these y values. So if we're doing 60 degrees, then that's square root 3 over 2. If they do cosine of 60, well, that would be the x value. Cosine is the x value, sine is the y. Okay. And tangent would be y divided by x. Okay, so let me write that down for you. So side note here. We'll come back to this question. But you see how the answer is going to be square root 3 over 2, right? The sine of theta is equal to the y value over the radius, but since we're dealing with unit circle, it's going to be 1. So we don't have to worry about r. The unit circle. Cosine is equal to x over r, which is just x over 1. Tangent is y divided by x. Cosecant theta is 1 over y. Secant theta is 1 over x. Cotangent is x over y. And all these numbers and these variables are the x and y from the unit circle. Okay. Oh, wait a sec. Before I go back. Okay. So knowing this, we should know that sine of 60 is equal to square root 3 over 2. So now you can solve for y. So y over 14 is equal to square root 3 over 2. Solve for y. Multiply both sides by 14. That would give us 14 square root 3 over 2, which is 7 square root 3. You guys cool with the algebra that I skipped? Do you see how we solve for y?
Yes, sir.
So we don't have to use the Pythagorean theorem for that.
No, you don't have to. I mean, we could now that we have two sides.
Yeah. But it's just asking for x. Okay.
But, or you could just do the same thing with cosine. All right, so if we want to solve for, if we want, let's just use the same technique, right? Now that we have y, cosine of 60 is equal to adjacent over hypotenuse, so x over 14, which is equal to 1/2 because of the unit circle, right? That means that x would be equal to 7. Any questions on number 8? I don't have enough space, so let me know if that's not clear. Okay, cool. So it wasn't too bad then. Number 9 is the same type of deal. Let's see here.
Oh, I see. So the unit circle thing is really helpful for the degrees so that we can get the X and Y coordinate for whatever it's asking for.
Yeah, anytime they have like an angle inside the trig function, just look at the unit circle. If it's a weird angle, then you have to use a calculator.
Okay.
Okay, so
Are you able to show on the calculator how to figure out a weird sign if it's not on the circle graph?
I have a TI 83 or 84. Is that what you
Okay.
got?
Yeah, I have an 84.
All right, let me see if it's charged here. Yeah, we're good. About to die though. So
Yeah, mine's charging too.
I think mine did die. Can you see this?
Yes.
Okay, so if you go to mode, make sure it's in degree, since we're doing degrees. Yours might look different, just toggle and hit enter on degrees once it's ready. Then plug in an angle. So sine of 60 is going to be a decimal because square root 3/2 is not, it doesn't give you that exact solution, right? Sine, cosine though, gives it the 1/2.
Okay. And but on mode, make sure it's normal or which one was it?
Make sure it's in degrees.
Please.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, I see. Right now it's on radians a degree. Okay.
Yeah, if it's radians, then you should be doing cosine of pi/3 because those are equivalent. Oops. I meant to. Oh, damn it. I got to change first. See how now it's a half.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have an angle like 48 degrees, then you have to use a calculator and plug it in, assuming you're in degree mode.
Okay.
All right, let's attempt to do this word problem. I have the solution here. Well, the answers. But the answer doesn't mean anything. We want to know how do we get how do we get there, right? You mean change it to exact solution, or what do you mean, like Victoria? I mean, if you have a really fancy calculator, it might give you square root 3/2, but I would prefer you use the circle. Unless you don't need the exact solution, then it doesn't matter. Because the circle is it's telling you exactly what the answer is. Okay, so you're standing in front of a building, 42 meters from the base. All right, so Got some building here. So I'm 42 meters away. And then it says you estimate the angle of elevation to the top of the 86th floor. Let's say 86 right here. Yeah, that's not the top of the building. It's just the observatory. Elevation meaning I'm looking upward. So let's say you're just chilling right here. 42 meters away, you're looking up. That angle that you look up is the elevation angle. And they said it was 82 degrees. So the first question says, second, I can't see. If the total height of the building is another 127 meters above the 86th floor, so this is the, we'll pretend this is the 86. What is the height of the building? Okay. And then the second part says, well, if your friend's on the 86, what's the distance between you and your friend? I'll figure that out later. So basically, we got to find this opposite side, right? And then add the extra chunk, because they said this piece right here, from here to here, is 127 meters. Does that make sense? Extra. So I just need to find this chunk and then add that. It will be good. So I'm thinking tangent would be the best, because I'd use the angle and the adjacent side to find opposite. So tangent of 82 is equal to the opposite, which is what I want to know. Call it x, I guess. Over adjacent. Solve for x. Multiply both sides by 42. That would imply that x is equal to 42 tangent of 82 degrees. All right, so I got to switch back to degrees. So I changed it. So here I have to use calculator. So 42, 10, 82. So this is 298.85 feet. So just add that 127. And we know the height of the building. It'll be 425.8, which is what they had, right? So, oops. Double check here. Yeah. Right up the building is equal to 127 meters plus 298.84, whatever. We're on to one decimal place. That looks ugly. Ah, man. Round to one decimal place, now it get us to 425.8 meters. Yeah, that's right, Natasha. So that's how you find part A, this guy. Any questions on how we set that up and what we're doing?
Nope.
It's not too bad. Right, we're
Is that 86 feet up there? What is that?
86th floor.
Thank you.
Yeah, the question's mentioned here. Let me copy paste the question for you. I don't want to write out the whole, make you write the whole thing. So this is the question. Now the distance from you to the friend on the 86, I would imagine is just the hypotenuse, right? Distance from here to here. So just find this piece. And you'll be good. Did I put feet? I think that should have been meters. Sorry. Right, to find that missing piece, you can use a sine or whatever. Second part says one of your friends. This is part 2. One of your friends is on the 86th floor. What is the distance? What is the distance between you and your friend? Okay, so part A, part B is how far is the friend on the 86th floor? Okay, so simply use, we can do sine. Actually, cosine would be better. Cosine of 82 degrees is equal to 42 meters over the hypotenuse. Solve for h. If I flip both sides over, you agree that that would be 1 over cosine 82, taking the reciprocal of both sides. Multiply both sides by 42 meters. That would give us h equal to 42 over cosine 82 degrees, whatever that is. So 42 divided by cosine 82. That would be the height, I'm sorry, the distance from the person on the ground to the 86th floor. Any questions on the algebra or the setup or the trigonometry? Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. All right, let's use the rest of the time to do some homework. At least till 9:30.
There's some questions in the chat.
Oh, I didn't see. Yes, Haley, you could have used Pythagorean theorem because we had two sides, right? That might have been easier. I felt this was easier for me because I don't want to deal with square roots and stuff, but it doesn't matter. Either way. If you have two sides and a right triangle, which it is, right? Then you can do Pythagoras, but if it's not a right triangle, we can't, but this entire section is right triangle. Jeremiah, you want to choose a trig function that gives you only one unknown. For example, at the beginning, the height of the height to the 86th floor and the hypotenuse were unknown, right? So if I would have chosen tangent, I would have had let me see, if I would have chosen sine, I would have had two unknowns and I can't do anything. So I have to choose something else. So I chose tangent because I saw, okay, well, I want to find the opposite side and I have the adjacent. So that means I'd only have one unknown if I choose to set it up this way. I could have also used sine first to find this distance here and then found the missing side here if you wanted to, right? So both of those approaches would have worked, but you want to choose something to just in a nutshell, right? Choose a trig function that creates an equation with one unknown. Blanca, let's see here. How do you know to use? I was trying to solve for h. H is on the bottom. So I took the reciprocal of both sides to get the h on top. You could have done cross multiplication if you wanted to. I just chose not to. You see what I mean? I just wanted the h on top.
I just realized it as I asked it. I was like, 42 is on top, so you can't really cross multiply it. So that makes perfectly sense. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, as long as it makes sense, I'm happy.
Mhm.
All right, guys, try it, do some homework for a bit, and then I'll take roll and we'll call it a night. Let's do at least 30 minutes. I know it's late, but let's do it while it's still fresh before you forget.
I actually did the hypotenuse method and the cosine method. I actually got two different answers. So I don't know if I did something wrong or
What did you get for what did you one of them give you the right answer?
the cosines method did give me the answer you got, but the hypotenuse method, the
Pythagorean?
Pythagorean theorem gave me over 100 more.
Yeah, I would just double check the setup. If you were to do Pythagorean to find hypotenuse, right?
Yeah.
You should have had c squared equal to a squared plus b squared, which means that c is equal to the square root of 42 squared plus 298.9 squared. So it has to be all under the square root. Is this how you set it up?
So I kind of just put in my calculator. I did 42 squared plus the 298.8 squared. And after I got that answer, I kind of just square rooted it.
That should have worked. Let's see. 42 squared plus 298.9 squared. And then square root that garbage. Yeah, I don't know what went wrong on your end. It should be good.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. I'll look into that though.
Yeah, double check. I'm sure this is like a weird button press or something.
Yeah, maybe.
All right, I'm gonna take a short break. I'll be right back.